Tesla's stock is pretty dramatically today underperforming the S&P. I would say that you wouldn't even guess why, but I'm sure you would. Tesla China recalls 1,683,627 cars, according to CCTV. Well, that's a scary headline. That's like 20% of all the cars out on the roads that Tesla has ever manufactured. But as Sawyer Merritt shares this image of Walter White and says it's a software update, not a physical recall. But that word recall just hits the algorithms different. It causes them to sell. And that's what you're seeing today with Tesla stock. If it was not for this fake news, I'll call it fake news because it's like an iPhone update, right? It's nothing. Then Tesla stock would be doing very well today because we actually had some pretty good news today. Last week, Tesla insured 12,500 units in China. This is slightly down compared to last year's total of 12,800 and way better, about double what you've seen for 2022 during this same week. So in all reality, this was actually a very good number. According to the news, Tesla has dropped the establishment of its Gigafactory in other Asian countries, including Thailand. Investments in Thailand will be limited to charging stations as a priority. That, from the market's perspective, should have also been seen as good news. Perhaps the algos haven't picked up on it yet, but that would mean less spending from Tesla. And generally speaking, markets like less spending. It does also look like Tesla improved camera quality via an over-the-air update. Tesla apparently partnered with Costco in Taiwan to sell its vehicles at Costco stores. This was something that is a first that's never happened before. But apparently Elon Musk canned this program because it was not approved. Rivian seems to be following in Tesla's footsteps, offering now a 2.99% financing rate for 60 months. Lucid reported earnings last night. Revenue came in at $200 million versus $193 million as was expected. Net loss came in at $790 million versus $764 million in Q2 of 2023. And Lucid has $1.35 billion of cash on hand. And Lucid's going to get another bailout. Lucid just announced that the Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund will inject $1.5 billion of cash into the company. Popular streamer Aiden Ross did an interview with Trump. He gifted him a Cybertruck during that interview. And Trump said this, quote, "Elon, you're great. I don't know if you're seeing this, but you're really good." And apparently Elon Musk sent Tucker Carlson a Cybertruck to test in Maine for a week. He gave it to his neighbor to test for him. The neighbor said the Cybertruck could replace his Ford F-350. Now, before we get into more of your Tesla specific data, option activity, what the shorts are doing today, all of that, let's give you an update of what's happening in markets today. And really, you can categorize today as the bounce after the volatility. The Russell 2000 is up 1.36%. The NASDAQ is up 1.04%. The S&P 500 is up 1.1%. And the Dow is up 0.61%. And the reason for the recent volatility is the Japanese yen carry trade that has started to unwind. And according to JP Morgan, we're only about 50% complete with the unwind of this carry trade. So during periods of extreme volatility, it's not just volatility to the downside, it's also volatility to the upside. Today is one of those upside volatile days, although it's not a crazy big day. You're up about 1% across the board, give or take. It's still a pretty volatile day, and it's going to be a volatile couple of months. You can also see after the VIX briefly hit 65 yesterday, it is plummeting now, down 27.5% today, down to 28, which is still very high, but not to those extreme fear levels that we were at yesterday. Over on the CNN Fear and Greed Index, even though you are seeing this pretty sharp bounce today, and especially from those lows that you hit yesterday in pre-market on the S&P around 507, 508 for the SPY. I mean, you've seen a huge bounce. The fear and greed index over on CNN is still in extreme fear, which I do find interesting. It could support a larger bounce to go, but I mean, I think there's a lot more to this story before it's over with, and we definitely want to be nimble here. The 2 and 10-year yield curve inversion is inverting further, which is actually seen as good news from the markets, because when you uninvert, that's when you're close to recession. That's historically when markets tend to sell off. So you briefly went uninverted yesterday. Now you're back inverted 14 basis points. So that's helping to support a little bit of this bounce as well. What's also interesting about this is 10-year treasury yields are up almost 9 basis points today, which is kind of being, I guess, helping the markets out. Because there's not as much of that fear bid, right? When yields are going up like they are today, that means people are actually selling treasuries, that they're not actually going out and buying treasuries in mass. When yields fall, that means people go out and are buying treasuries. That's seen as really a risk-off move, especially when it's coupled by a carry trade that is essentially falling apart. And from my broader perspective on markets, I do think we could bounce to this 100-day moving average. That is the level that I am personally targeting for a bounce. And I mean, I think it's going to be pretty hard to get higher than that at this point. Earnings season is pretty much done. The economy is weakening. The Fed's about to start cutting rates. I think we need some good economic data, some really good economic data, to get markets to substantially move higher from here. Again, this carryover trade with Japan is not over with. This was kind of the appetizer that put downside volatility on our radar. And I don't think markets are going to be super quick to bid us back up to new all-time highs. That's my opinion, but we'll see. In the meantime, Tesla's kind of just doing its own thing, down 1.2% today, and the vast majority of stocks out there are actually in the green. So Tesla's one of 10% or so of stocks out there that are actually red today. And again, it really just comes down to that quote-unquote recall news or bad news that is causing this fall. We actually seen yesterday that Tesla held up pretty dang well relative to other big tech stocks. So without this news today, we would likely see Tesla up probably 3% or so, like it was earlier in pre-market trading. And in overnight trading, Tesla was $205 per share. Currently, you're at $196.39 per share. If we take a look at the option orders for the day today via the interesting flow sentiment over on Ortex, you have seen two different trades totaling $286,000 with a positive order value of 100%. And this trade is pretty bullish, really sticks out here. A June 20th, 2025, $330 call, totaling about $200,000. Tesla's short interest of free float is sitting at 3.76%. You do have $20.75 billion currently sold short in Tesla stock. And that does total 104.36 million shares that are currently sold short. As far as Google Trends data for the Tesla lineup, you can see the Cybertruck is at 79, very healthy levels there. The Model Y at 26, that's actually a step down from 27 that we had just a couple of days ago. The Model 3 is stepping down as well from 25 to 24. Not a big deal. Model S at 10 and the Model X at 8, which is unchanged really over the past couple of weeks. Sentiment over on StockTwits for Tesla is bullish at 57. Yesterday, you were bullish at 56. So people feel a little bit more bullish today than they did yesterday. By people, that's really retail investors, right? So retail's feeling a little bit more bullish on Tesla today. Message volume is at 47, which is normal. Yesterday you were at 48, which was also normal, and participation ratio today is high at 55. And Google Trends data for FSD also looks really good, coming in at 22 right now. Really anything above 20 is really good. We recently did hit a low of about 19 briefly, and now we're back to 22. Now, any other time really in the past couple of years, for FSD, anything over 20 was rare. Okay, so that's why I think 20 is a pretty important level. If we can stay above 20, that's a really good sign that the take rate is probably continuing to be good. Over on Google, Tesla is currently advertising about 4,000 different ads. Tesla's global inventory numbers are falling yet again for the Model Y, down to about 6,300. The Model 3 is really staying about the same at 5,600 or so, the Model X at 3,700, and the Model S at 2,600. Also helping out this market today was Iran, that said, quote, "We are not looking to escalate tensions in the region." We do have some earnings today and after hours as well that are notable. Supermicro, Rivian, Airbnb, Wynn Resorts, Devon Energy, Reddit, GigaCloud Technology, Axon, Upstart, and Amgen. Tomorrow morning, we also have some big earnings with Shopify, Walt Disney, Novo Nordisk, CVS Health, Global Payments, Emerson, Aora, Lyft, Sony, and Dynatrace. Specifically, Supermicro could be important given the relationship that Supermicro has with NVIDIA. It could give you a sign to NVIDIA's earnings or a hint to what they could be, although at this point we've had enough semiconductors report that we're fairly certain NVIDIA is going to have some good numbers. For Tesla stock specifically, if you look at the technicals, you're above your 100-day moving average, so that's the level that really matters to the downside right now. It looks like yesterday you did find a lot of support at that level, and then you did start to bounce upwards. Now you're at almost $197 per share. Your 100-day moving average is at about $190 per share. So you're a couple dollars above that, and I expect we will stay above this until we get more volatility. If we get more volatility with this Japanese carry trade or whatnot, then you could definitely see Tesla fall under that 100-day moving average. But I think you are probably due for a large bounce for Tesla. I think Tesla wants to bounce, and I think it would be doing much better today if it was not for this bad news that we got from this recall. Your 200-day moving average is going to be the next big level to watch. You did find a little bit of resistance there yesterday when we were going through our upside move. At one point, people were starting to talk about whether the S&P would actually go green if you would see one of those crazy bounces. That clearly did not happen, but at that point, Tesla hit that 200-day moving average and pretty much got rejected right at that level, which is sitting at about $203.43 per share. Again, in overnight trading last night, Tesla stock was actually $205 per share, and that's why I do believe Tesla would have broke above that 200-day moving average if this bad news had not come out, because in all reality, just being up like 3% or so today would have put you well past your 200-day moving average. And once we're back above that, then we can start to talk about larger upside to the 215s or 220s. And Tesla stock at this point is getting pretty oversold. You have the RSI at 38.85 and the MACD that's -3 and the signal line that's +3. So you have seen the strength, really of our markets crumble, but also Tesla at the same time. There's been a little too much selling, in my personal opinion. So ladies and gentlemen, that is going to go ahead and conclude this video. Make sure you guys are joining us for our 8 p.m. video tonight. We'll talk specifically what's next for markets, your next major catalyst, and really how I'm viewing things. Is this a good time to buy the dip? Is it a good time to make a swing trade? Is it a good time to load up on puts again? I think people, there's various different opinions on this, and hopefully we can help provide a little bit of color and clarity on perhaps the best thing to be doing right now. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.